So, I mean, all the struggles I had yesterday, even trying to put a tube in my front tire, it just wasn't working. I mean, probably anybody who would have watched me doing my tire would have been like, holy smokes, did this guy just, is this his first time trying to change a tire?
Ride on, Jewel, let your spirit be free with the wind at your back.
Hey, I told you I knew where I was.
Sing loud, Jewel, let your heart be your guide in the depths of the thunder. It's your rant and your ride.
Yeah, here we are, officially California now, in Nevada. Every stinking week we have an accident, traffic backed up, can't go anywhere. Every single week. Really great. I was literally gonna run to East Side Carson City, 10 minutes from my house. Yeah, now it's gonna be an hour. It's a joke. Anyway, the story, if you've been following my videos and my accident and yada yada, you know, we're past 7 weeks of healing. You know, my hands still get sore. It's weak, as you know, if you've been watching the videos. We're going on a motorcycle ride tomorrow, and it's a pretty long one, all day. So it's supposed to be a group ride, but Aaron and I probably gonna peel off by ourselves because I don't want to be holding people up, stopping and resting my hand, because it gets sore. But this story is like for me, it's a 300% God story, God Testament story. So, what do I mean by that? You know, I believe, and I think I confirmed it, but I believe my front tire was flat on my Tubliss system. And I found out even the inner bladder, which is supposed to be kept at 110 pounds, had a problem with it also. So the whole system, you know, needed a new inner bladder for it. I think the inner bladder was leaking and causing the outer wheel to not properly hold air, is my conclusion, and the reason why. So when I went for my ride that I got an accident on, I had changed my back wheel, you know, put a new back wheel on it, and I had a new front one, but I didn't change it before that ride. So the whole time I was riding that ride, I was complaining that, you know, the bike was feeling weird. I kind of gave it partially a reason to, yeah, I got a brand new back tire and the front tires, you know, 2/3, 3/4 worn out. but actually I believe it was the Tubliss system. And so, you know, I did take it to Yarrington once with Ryan with his 350. And I mean, it seemed okay on that ride. It seemed pretty good. I did notice a couple days later, you know, the tire was losing air again. So I knew something's going on with the Tubliss system. And it could be any of a number of issues, right, that cause it to seep air. It could be the rim, it could be the inner small high pressure tube, it could be the bladder, or it could be your tire. So you've got all those components that contribute. So today or yesterday I was like, man, you know, I should at least put my new tire on and see if that's the component that's causing the leakage in the front tire. Yeah, looks like some possible accident down here. Unbelievable, dude. There's people. So, this is why this is a God testimony, God story. So, this week I had to, you know, get my bike ready for tomorrow's ride. It's going to be, actually it was a 3-day group ride. And Aaron and I kind of decided to be our own group. So, I'm not holding people up. I didn't want to hold up 15 people in a group. And so I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to have issues with the front tire. So yesterday, I struggled. I took the Tubliss system apart on the front, but I struggled to do that. I mean, it was a struggle. More than normal. It was a struggle. And then I found that, yes, the inner bladder was seeping air. I'm like, oh, great. So I looked on Amazon and I'm like, yes, they have a inner bladder and we can have it here today. And actually, Amazon delivered it today. And then, while I'm checking stuff, the rim tape, which seals up the spokes, was pretty tore up. And I think one of my spokes was seeping air. So the inner bladder and the spoke seeping air. And I looked for rim tape to see if I could get it here today. No. I could not get rim tape here today. So at that point, I decided, okay, well, if I'm going to do this ride, you know, I'm kind of stressing at that point, and it's late in the afternoon. I'm like, I need to just put a tube in it, a regular tube, so I can do this ride, and I should. So anyway, I usually keep tubes on hand for my XR and my 250. So yes, I found a front tube in the garage. It was wrapped up like it was new. I think it was new. I don't know how old it was. Anyway, I go to put that in my front wheel. And I'm just going to tell you the story. I mean, I changed a lot of tires. Yesterday, I was struggling like it was my first time. I'm like, what is going on? Anyway, I get the front wheel all together with that other tube, and it has a leak in the tube. So I don't know if it was a tube I had that had a hole in it before. Might have been a tube I had before that I ruined when I was trying to put it in a tire before, and I kept it because I was going to put a patch on it. But anyway, it was a light duty tube. It was only like a 2mm tube. And so I took it all apart. And I'm like, tomorrow, you know, I'll have to go into town and buy a heavy duty tube. Hopefully they'll have a heavy duty tube. Carson's really good about not having crud you need. They just are. They're really good about not having the stuff you need. Even though they got pretty big motorcycle shops, it's like, come on guys, gotta carry stuff. They didn't have anything for the Tubliss system. In fact, they were like, Tubliss? You mean Moose? I'm like, no, I mean Tubliss. Tubliss is actually better than Moose, I think, for the kind of riding I do. Let's put it that way. If you're just a single track dude who's doing hard enduro, yeah, Moose it all day long. You're not getting on the highway and doing 60 miles an hour. So, I mean, all the struggles I had yesterday, even trying to put a tube in my front tire, it just wasn't working. I mean, probably anybody who would have watched me doing my tire would have been like, holy smokes, did this guy just, is this his first time trying to change a tire? So anyway, today I go to the motorcycle shop, and they're expensive, right? They're twice as much as what Amazon wants for stuff, and usually when you ask them for heavy duty tubes, they give you a 3mm tube. That's their heavy duty tube, 3mm. Yeah. So we'll get back to this in a second. But anyway, they had 4mm tubes, which was killer awesome. Expensive, but killer awesome. And 4mm tubes. Yeah, I 40-something minutes to get here. There's motorcycles crashed at the light. Harleys or something.
Jay just rode out of here.
Alright, so if I can pick up where I left off. Yeah, so the motorcycle shop had 4mm heavy duty tubes. I mean, 4mm thick. Those, and usually motorcycle shops, you say, I want heavy duty, they give you 3mm. But they had 4mm tubes they gave me. Expensive. And I'm like, oh man, you know, it's the best way to go if you're going tubes, but they can be really hard to put in. When we did errands, they were a bear. But we did his and the weather was kind of cold, you know. I had the sun on my side. I threw my tire. I went home, I took that tube, I put some air in it. And left it out in the sun for a half an hour. But I'm just going to tell you, you know, I was nervous. I was like, Aaron said, yeah, if you start fighting that thing, bring it over here and we'll help you put it in. Because, you know, he fought with his. So I was like, okie dokie. So anyway, I threw that thing on the driveway and the tire, let it sit there for 30 minutes. Got it ready, got it prepared. It took me 10 minutes to put that tire on. 10 minutes. And I just want to tell you, it was probably the easiest tire and tube install I've ever done in my life. I would venture to say that. The easiest in my whole life. So, I was expecting it to be hard because expecting it to be really hard because of the 4mm tube. I knew I'd probably get the first side of the tire on, and then I was thinking, you know, I'll probably have to bring it over here to the shop and have those guys help me get the other side of the tire on. Nope. It went on in 10 minutes, butter smooth. I'm just saying that's unreal after yesterday. If you would have seen me fight my tire yesterday, you would have thought that it was my first time ever trying to change a tire. So I just want to tell you, this is a 300% testimony to God. God was like, you're not putting anything in that front tire for this ride except a heavy-duty tube. You're not going to put a faulty Tubliss system in and ride on it, and you're not going to put in a 2mm tube. You are going to put in a brand new heavy-duty tube. And I'll help you, and it'll go smooth. And that's God for you. If you trust in God, God will work it out. And He'll keep you from doing the wrong thing or compromising with a wheel and a tube that isn't going to work. And that's what he did. And I'm just telling you that's what he did. I know that's what he did. He kept me from riding on the faulty Tubliss system and possibly, you know, riding through the day and being focused on riding and the front wheel go flat again, because we will be in the dirt and hitting obstacles. And yeah, he didn't want me out there with a 2mm tube in my front tire either. So anyway, that's my testimony. That's my story. Hallelujah, Jesus. Praise God. You can take it for what it is, but all day long, praising God, that's for sure. All righty. And you know, this bike is just a lot nicer for you know, riding. Even at 55, right, it sounds nice and smooth. It's not like winding out. The acceleration, you know, it's quite a bit less. I lowered it like 3 teeth off a back sprocket by going up 1 tooth on the front sprocket. So, you know, it's only a 350. I can tell the acceleration is less, you know. Doesn't accelerate as hard like it did before, but better for traveling on the highway, and we got to do that tomorrow, right? We got to ride around the lake to Truckee, and then ride from Truckee around Donner, and then we get in the dirt out there somewhere. Yeah, so everybody's slowing down. The traffic's all slowed down like this for, you know, whatever, a motorcycle accident or something. I guess everybody's got to dock and see what's going on. Alrighty, so 2 days of riding coming up, and 2 days of video. Hopefully I can keep it to an hour long or so. Hallelujah.